Good morning, slaves. When I'm in Rochester and I want to see burning cop cars, I watch Rochester Indymedia, home of the motherfucking resistance.
It was August 5th, 06.
Okay.
I lived it on Dewey Avenue. And I lived in an apartment building. And it had a lot of things wrong with the apartments. The electrical sometimes didn't work. The plumbing sometimes didn't work. And they had a superintendent who would fix these things. You would have to get in touch with him, find him, and let him know that you had a situation in your apartment that needed to be fixed. So I had a bathroom that had a leak in the sink, and I was trying to find him to come and repair the sink. I put a washer in it so it wouldn't drip all the time. And so I seen him go down the hall and go out the door. So I followed him. He had went downstairs in the apartment that he was preparing to rent out. So the door was locked. So I was looking in the window to try to get his attention. And at that time, 2 police carloads of Rochester police rolled by as I was looking in the window. But I didn't know that they was going to go around the block and come back to me, where I was at, looking in the window. So when I turned around, the 2 police cars pulled up. It was about, I would say, between 6 and 10 officers. And they got out the cars and they approached me with their guns out, drawing and everything. And one of the officers was commanding me to lay down on the ground. And I was asking the officer, is there a problem? And he was pointing his gun at me. He said, I'm telling you to lay down on the ground. I said, is there a problem? And we just going back and forth. He said, I'm telling you to lay down on the ground. I said, is there a problem? And he said, I'm telling you, dickhead, lay down on the ground, you're pissing me off. And at that time, he pulled the hammer back on his gun. And so I asked him again. I said, is there a problem? So he's telling, I'm telling you to lay down on the ground. I said, is there a problem? So at that time, the other officers started inching up on me with their guns on me, like this, all of them. And then the first 2 closest to me jumped me. And they started wrestling me down to the ground. So as they was doing that, I was asking them again, is there a problem? Okay. So they wrestled me on the ground, bust my head open, gave me a concussion almost, and then they twist my arm, and twist the other arm. One guy had his knee on my back, the other one had a knee on my neck, and they was telling me to stop fighting. And I kept asking them, is there a problem? So at that time, they put the handcuffs on me, which was really, 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 really tight. It cut into my wrist. My wrist was bleeding. My hands were swollen. They looked like baseball glove mitts, and they had me in the back of the car. And they made me sit in that car, even though I was not guilty of any violation whatsoever. They made me sit in that car for 45 minutes to an hour with my hands like that. So as they was picking me up, the police officer had me like this. He picked me up. He said, "We seen you looking in that window." I said, "What window?" He said, "That window right there." I said, "Well, I live in that building." He said, "You do?" I said, "Yeah, I live in that building. I live in that building." And he said, "Well, is there anybody in there that can verify that?" I said, "Yeah, the superintendent who I was looking for in the apartment." So he looks at the sergeant, Sergeant Molly, at that time, was the sergeant that was in charge of these guys as they assaulted me. Sergeant Molly. He was right there at the time of this incident. He even had the audacity to tell me that you know how things go. Like, you black, we white, and we do what we want to do to you people. You know how things go. And I told him, I said, "I don't know how things go. I know this, that you need to go home and tell that to your wife and kids. Tell them that. Because I don't really want to hear it." So now they talked to the superintendent. The superintendent told him, his name was Guy. He told him, that guy lives in this building and we don't have a problem with him. So now the officers are all looking at each other and looking at Sergeant Molly. Now what do we do now? You know, all the while I'm asking them, is there a problem? Is there a problem? Disregard me, disregard my rights, disregard my person, assaulted me, threw me on the ground, all of this. I wasn't arrested, wasn't charged, wasn't taken downtown for anything, was released, and then they came to the hospital taunting me. Sergeant Molly tried to get me to go to the hospital with him, and I told him I fear them police for assaulting me, and I don't want them around me. And he sent them to the hospital anyway. And if you go and you catch the videos, the tapes, the security guards, I asked, what about my patient rights? Why are these people here? What is the purpose of them being here? And one of the officers who assaulted me told me that I'm wasting the taxpayers' money coming to the hospital. I asked him, I said, what are you afraid of? They might say you physically assaulted me and I'm assaulted and I'm hurt and I have proof of it. What are you afraid of? So everywhere I went while I was being given medical attention, he followed me, taunting me and saying little negative things, really. One of the things he kept saying that, you know, I was wasting the taxpayers' money coming there. Mind you, I wasn't arrested for anything. I hadn't broken any laws. I haven't done anything criminally. But the criminal activities was done to me by the Rochester Police Department. And still to this day are being done to me. Do I feel like I'm being singled out? Yes, I have. What kind of problems I've been having with the Rochester police? Accusing me of committing crimes that I did not commit. And I keep asking the police chief, which was David Moore, which is now Mr. Shepard, James Shepard. Do you need me to come down there for you to talk to me? No, 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 no. But yet, every time I turn around, I go outside my door, there's a police sitting on the side of my building, or around the corner, or down the street, or just down the street. Every single time I leave my apartment, here come a police car, state police. First of all, Sergeant Molly, who was the sergeant at that time, who was there when the incident happened, he now sits on a board, a commission, that was supposed to be to review complaints against the police by civilians or citizens of this community, such as myself. Here go a complaint here that I put in from that date that involved Sergeant Molly. You wouldn't believe this complaint, you wouldn't believe who investigated it. Mr. Molly and Lieutenant Brown. How can you be involved with an incident or assault on a civilian or citizen by the police, and you is in charge of these police, and you turn around and investigate the incident? What kind of police department we got going on here in Rochester, New York? What kind of police department allows people that is involved with incidents to investigate them and find there's no basis for my complaint? This is what Sergeant Molly said, the same sergeant who was there in charge of the police officers while he was assaulting me, and now he's investigating the complaint that I put in against those police officers, which he and Sergeant Lieutenant Brown now says that there was no basis for my complaint. Yet I was physically assaulted, there was physical bruises, the doctor gave me prescriptions for medication, for pain, for swelling, and the follow-up report and everything when I went to the hospital. But yet there was no basis for my complaint. So when I tell people that I fear the police when they're around me, I don't want them to think that I'm playing no game. I don't want them to get the slightest impression that I'm playing when I say that I fear these police officers here in Rochester when they're around me. I fear for my life. Now, it's obvious that putting in a complaint when you're assaulted by these police here in Rochester is a waste of time. So what remedy do I have when I'm around somebody that's a police officer that's threatening to me? What remedy do I have to protect myself? All right, it was 2006. Took about 2 years.
Right.
And I had to keep calling the police chief, and I had to keep going down to the police headquarters and asking and calling in regards to my complaint. That's the only reason why I got some kind of results. Took a long time. And if I committed a crime, I have 6 months to go to trial. They call it a speedy trial. I can go to trial in 6 months. But when a police officer does something or violate me or is misconduct, it takes years before it's investigated. Years. Years. Witnesses get lost, information get lost, all that kind of stuff that's very important into truly investigating the complaint is lost because they take forever to get to the complaint. But if I committed a criminal act, I can go to trial in 6 months, a speedy trial. It's just amazing how the law just does what it want to do when it comes to them. I don't feel that there was enough cooperation or information that was available to me without me going through some special steps as far as petitioning the commissioner, the police chief, in regards to what is going on with my case. I shouldn't even have to call a police chief. I really shouldn't have. I shouldn't have to bother him at all with a investigation against this department. I really, that to me says a whole lot about that police department. Well, I was calling like every couple of months, you know, and then I went to professional standards, and they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. They didn't even want to talk to me. These people are being paid by the citizens of this community, with the citizens of this community taxes. They're being paid, but they don't do nothing for the citizens. I think they need to disband that service and start a civilian review board by civilians. I don't mean just no makeshift civilian review committee, but one with subpoena power. In a perfect world, my complaint wouldn't have been investigated by somebody who was involved with the incident. In a perfect world, the federal government would send somebody to investigate what is going on in the Rochester Police Department. That police officers that go around assaulting people is the same people that investigate the claims against themselves. The Civilian Review Board process in Rochester is a hoax. It is a hoax. Nothing is ever going to be done against any police officer who is complaining about harassment, racial profiling, assaulting somebody, stereotyping somebody, assassinating somebody's character, which they have a tendency of doing, accusing people of crimes they didn't commit. These are just some of the things that the police here in Rochester have a tendency of doing to people, because they feel as though they're above the law. I feel like that was a slap in my face. That was a travesty of justice. You know, they tell me, well, you have a problem, you know, you go put in a complaint, you put in a grievance, and you go the right way, you deal with it that way. But I'm telling you, I'm showing you, dealing with it that way does not get no results from the people that needs to be some results from. That you need to get some results from. You do not get no results. If anything, these people are promoted and given higher ranks and positions and salaries in this city for doing wrong. You murder somebody and they make you a sergeant. You take an innocent person's life who was non-threatening to you, and they'll give you a promotion. It seems to be that the people who are in charge of the Rochester Police Department doesn't care about the people in this city. They just care about each other. If they didn't care about each other, maybe a lot more of them would be getting recommended. But we don't see that. We see the same thing here that happened in Greece. Everybody's covering up for everybody until the light starts shining on people. Once the light starts shining, then the truth will start being revealed about what's really going on with the Rochester Police Department and how they conduct themselves and the things that they're doing to citizens in the city. Not only Rochester Police Department, you have the state police, you have the FBI, you have the ATM, you have all these federal marshals, U.S. marshals in this city, and they're just doing whatever they want to do to people, and there's nothing can be done about it. Eric Holden is in Washington, and if you call him or send him a message for help to investigate racial injustice, profiling, police harassment, misconduct, and it's like it falls on a deaf ear. So who do you go to? I mean, if I'm around somebody that's threatening to me, just like they say when they shoot somebody, oh, I thought my life was in danger, and they justify for that. Nothing happens to them. So what about me when I feel my life? What remedy do I have? to protect my life? Could you please tell me that? I would like to know. I really would like to know, because I feel threatened when they're around me. You know? So how do I protect myself? Who do I turn to? Who do help me? Who is there to help me? If you be assaulted by somebody, every time you see them, you're going to be concerned about their presence. Especially if they have a weapon on them where they can hurt you and get away with it. Of course, I'm concerned. Whenever I see them, I'm concerned. I don't really want them around me. I don't want no contact with them. I don't want, if I call them, that's different. If I call you, I need you, that's different. Other than that, I really don't want you around me. I really don't. I don't want no kind of contact with you. I don't trust you. I don't believe nothing you say. I don't feel safe around you. There's a lot of police officers in this city that's doing a lot of stuff, misconduct stuff, and nothing is being done about it. You know, like racial profiling. You know, not only racial profiling, they just go around harassing people, telling you, shut up, dickhead, and I'm answering the questions, and, you know, no respect for the person, no respect for people's rights, no respect for human rights and civil rights. Disregard all of that, and just do what they want to do. And I think it's time for a change. I think the police in this country get away with a lot, a whole lot, too much. And I think it's time for a change. For me personally, I feel threatened around them, and I don't like for them to be around me. And when I see them, I'm concerned, because only God knows what they're up to. You know, you can't go up to them and question them because they ain't gonna say nothing. I mean, you're gonna play stupid, and then if something happen, the whole world gonna want to come down on you then. But what do I do when I feel threatened and I feel like my life is in danger? What do I do? What do I do? What? Just please tell me. What do I do? Do I walk around in fear? Should I have to walk around in fear? And I'm not living in no third world country. I'm living in the United States of America. I'm a citizen of this country. I have rights that should be respected, even though they're not. You know? So, yes, I'm very much concerned when they're around me, when I see them anywhere. You know? And it does bother me. It does bother me. I think the federal government needs to look into the complaints of the civilian, the people of this community, as far as what's going on with the Rochester Police Department. And not only them, the state police too. Molly, you know, you are moving up in the ranks in the police department, and it seems to be you're making real good money, 100,000 plus. That's pretty good for misconduct, because if you had any integrity, Mr. Molly, you would not sit on no board, commission, or anything to do with professional standards. You are sitting there because you are ensuring the Rochester police get away with all kind of misconduct, because you're not going to find not a one guilty of doing anything that contradicts a claim against them. So if I was you, Sergeant Molly, Lieutenant Molly, Captain, whatever you is these days, I would seriously consider stepping down or moving aside before the heat comes. It's going to come, Molly. It's going to come. Not only against you, people been getting away with a lot for a long time in this city. You've been doing a lot of wrong things, your conduct, misconduct, breaking the laws. You've been doing a whole lot of things. You know, personally, I don't think you're any better than the people you go after. Probably even worse. Because those people you go after, they never took an oath. They never swore to serve and to protect. They never swore to keep the peace of this community, to serve the people in this community. They never swore that. You did that. Your word don't mean nothing. When we look at your conduct, your word don't mean nothing. Nothing. You don't have no integrity. You're a man that you're just, I guess, motivated for money. Because the more money you get, I guess, the more you keep quiet about what's really going on. Be a man of integrity. Be a man of integrity. Step down, Molly. Don't continue to sit on this board, because what you're doing is you giving the people of this community a slap in their face. See what I'm talking about? You know you was involved with this incident, and you investigated it. How can you investigate an incident that involves you? And the police chief, the mayor of this city, does not say one word about it. Who's going to protect me from you people? That's what I want to know. Because you people is way out of control and are out of control with your misconduct and racial profiling and everything else that you're doing in the city, and that you're getting away with it. There's going to come a time, just like it did with the Grease police. They got away with it for a long time. They covered up, and guess what? All of them people right now is in jail or on their way to jail. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. You take the trust of the people of the community where you serve, and you misuse that trust, you abuse that trust, and you do whatever you want to do. You have no integrity. You walk like you are above the law. Nobody in this country is above the law. Not even the President of the United States.
Did you hear what they said